Hi, good afternoon. This is Audrey with the Creator's Attic on Etsy, and I am here just to show you a simple idea on how to make these very cute, tiny little mini booklets out of the most simple things that you will probably have laying around your house. So these use up scraps and little bits and bops and things, and they just come together so cute. I'll give you a tour of one. Here's this one, and I've just put a little trim on it, and I have taken some stamped on the inside and made some pages from some leftover coffee dyed scraps that I've had. I just sewed them in, and this one I sewed in by hand, but this one was sewed in with the machine. So you can do different things different ways with different, this is just for design purposes. This is one that I did a while back, but this is just an interesting, pretty, this one's very pretty, little concept, and you can make pretty or cute little things and just put these in your junk journals. You can tuck them into pockets, you can put them into or you can glue them to the back of the page and make a bunch of little minis around it, or there's just so many possibilities you can do. You can clip them in, put them into side tucks, pockets. I don't know what I've already said, but anyway, let's find out. If you want to find out how to make some of these, come along for this video. Then let me back you up a little bit. Okay, where you can see a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this and reveal the ugliness of my well-loved and used crafting mat. Okay, so let's see if I can back you up just a little bit. There, so you can have a little bit more room to see, bigger field of vision. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to put these aside, and I'm going to show you what I used. I used this. This is what is underneath those pretty fabrics that I have used, is a playing card. I had a deck of playing cards that was missing a few, and I just really didn't think to put, I wanted to put this directly into my junk journal. So they weren't much use for other things unless I made them pretty. So that's what I'm going to do. And these playing cards that I am using are 3 inches tall and 2¼ inches across. And most of these playing cards like this, unless you're using your poker cards or some wider cards, most of your standard playing deck card playing decks are going to be this size. And I had some scraps. This is a great way to use up some fabric scraps. You can coffee dye them. I coffee dyed this one. Sticking it down in some coffee. Let's see. But you can buy these already pre-cut if you want in a little pack on Amazon, or you can use leftover scraps. But I just find that I bought these, and I love these pre-cut scraps. They're 4 by 4, and so it just works perfectly. And then I have some cuts from some bigger journals I was making. I had some paper cutoffs, and those went great. Cut those down for the pages, and I cut these 2 inches high and 3 inches across, because when I close them and to put them into my book, they're the perfect size. So let's get started. I'm going to grab my favorite glue stick. This is the Scotch Create glue stick. Multi-purpose, fabric to fabric, paper to paper, fabric to paper. And I think I may be just about out of this one, but maybe I'll have enough left in this one to demonstrate. Okay, now since I have gotten glue on my mat so already, I am trying to salvage what's left of it, and so I'm just going to use this catalog that I glue on, and then you can just tear the pages out after you get glue on it, and you have a clean slate. Okay, so here we go. Well, there we go. Okay, first of all, I'm going to take my card, I'm going to take the back of it, and I'm going to go around it with glue. Get it good and glued. Make sure you get all the edges and the corners and also the middle. Okay. I think my glue stick's going to stay with me long enough to do this. Okay. I'm going to tear this page out and get a fresh page. Okay, here we go. Now this doesn't have glue on it, so I'm going to take my card. I'm going to take the back of the fabric. Let me see if I can move this up. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to lay this down where I want it, in the center. Okay, now, push it down and you can smush out a little bit. All right, and okay, there we go. Now, I'm going to use a trick that I like to use for making nice polished corners. That's like how I've done these. You have the nice, neat little corners like this. I'll show you a little trick. If you don't know this trick already, follow along and stay with me, because this is a cool little trick. And you can use this in so many different projects, but and in so many different ways. So I do have a little bit more than I need on the top and bottom, so I think I'm going to trim that off just a little bit, but not too much, because I want to be able to use it for my for the coverage of a little bit of fabric inside my book. And so I'm just going to trim a little bit off. Okay. And I'm going to put these aside and save these, because I never know when I can use them on little clusters or whatever for or other things. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some glue on each of my corners. I keep losing this, but I don't want to waste the rest of this glue stick, because it will just, here we go, do it like this. It just is so good, such good glue, and there's so much left when it comes down to this little nub. There's so much left in this little nub. Okay, so, all right, I have each of my corners. I'm going to take the corner of this, and I'm going to fold. See how I'm grabbing this side of the fabric, both sides of the fabric, and I am bringing them down where the point of this corner matches the point of this, like it's pointing at this one, and this one's going to point back at that one. And this one's going to point at this one, and this one's going to point back at this one. Let's see. There we go. All right, now we have our 4 corners down, and I'm not going to worry if I get glue all over this part of the card, because I'm going to put something over it. So here we go. I'm going to put glue on my card here. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on even on the fabric, if it's fine. And this is what's so wonderful about this glue stick: fabric to fabric, fabric to paper, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it down and get my edge, and I'm going to flip it over. Push down. Do that on this side. Push it down. Now I have 2 smooth edges. Okay, do it here. Do it here. And I have these nice edges already ready to go. Now, move this now that I'm, well, actually I may need this, but I'm going to use a fresh tape. So, instead of throwing these little things in the garbage can, you can use them for gluing, and actually they won't, at least serve a purpose. Okay, so I have this card. I coffee-dyed some business cards, some blank business cards I found at the thrift store, and they work really great for putting down on these, and they're just a little long. So I'm going to just trim a little bit of it off, and I should have coverage area. Here we go. Yes, okay. So I am going to actually glue the card, my glue stick, making sure that I get the corners and the edges really well, but I also want the center. because I really want to make sure that when I fold this book, that this is going to be secure. Okay, so new slip of gluing on here, and I'm going to place this down like this. And you can kind of migrate this over a little bit with this glue. It'll kind of, you can kind of slide things with it, and you have a little bit of time to do that with this. And I like it because it doesn't ooze all over the place like other glues may. You know, with the white glues, it may not stick as well to the fabric, and also it just doesn't it doesn't ooze all out the sides. It's pretty much where you put it is where it stays. It doesn't like really squish out the sides. So I really like this about the glue stick, these glue sticks. All right, so now I'm going to take this. All right, I have my outside. This is going to be my outside. This is my inside, and my glue hasn't quite dried, so let's see. I'm going to put my corners together here and hold it like this. So I have this. Then I'm going to take my bone folder, or you can use the bone folder, which I like to use. And if you don't have one of those, you can use the flat part of your scissors here. This flat part, you can see it better with maybe these scissors. Have this flat part right here, and you can use this to smooth it out if you don't have a bone folder. But a bone folder is very handy in the junk journal world, and for many other things as well. But this just really goes ahead and gives you a nice solid fold. And let me open it up, and this is what we have. So we have our basic booklet already. We're ready to put in the pages. So let me move this. I don't think I'm going to be gluing anything for a few minutes, so I'm going to put my glue to the side here. Okay, so now we are ready to put in the pages. And what I did is like I said, I already cut these out for time's sake, and I inked around the edges with some Distress ink, but I didn't want to do it on video and take up too much time, so I went ahead and did 3. You can I like to put about 4 in here, because folded over you get 16 pages to write on in these little things. These tiny little things, 16. So here I have, I'm going to do one on video. Okay. I am going to take this, and I'm going to just ink around the edges. I'm using Gathered Twigs by Tim Holtz. I believe this was came out in fall 2020 as a limited time color. But you can still find it in some places, like online in some places. And what I did was I noticed that it's getting harder and harder to come by. I really like it because it's a little bit darker than the vintage photo color that he has. This vintage photo color, and it just really makes the edges of the coffee dyed paper, when you ink them, stand out a little bit more. The vintage photo seems to be a little light for some of the little bit darker dyed papers, and I like to really coffee dye with get really rich colors out of my when I coffee dye. So okay, put my lid back on. All right, so now I'm going to just take each one of these as I would in a larger book, and I'm going to put the corners to corners, and then do this, and then that way I know that they're together. Put that one down, put this one down. Let's see. So I'm basically just going to fold these 4 pages in half. Okay, here we go. And for the one in that I'm going to stack these like together like this on top of each other. Right, they're all together. I'm going to fold. This is going to be my center page, and I want to just kind of give it a little extra look. You don't have to, but I'm just going to ink the middle because it just gives it a little bit of an extra vintagey look for the center of the booklet. Okay, so I have these, and you can take your sewing machine and sew down the middle, or you can use some, you can sew these in with the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Since I have it handy, I'm going to take my little, I have this little thing I keep on my desk of little paper clips and binder clips and things like that. I'm going to put them down here where I want them. Okay, and then I'm just going to clip them in, and this keeps them in place while I am sewing in. I'm going to see, maybe use a paper clip for this one. Yes, while I'm sewing them in so they don't slide all over the place. You don't have to do that, but if you don't want to, but it's not necessary, but it really helps keep it nice and neat. Okay, and then I have a little bit thicker needle here. This is about what I use to sew pages into my junk journals. This has a big old eye on it, and it's a little bit over 2 inches, and it has kind of a blunt tip. Okay, I'm going to take this, and for the purpose of this light small project, I can use some just embroidery thread that I have here. And so just as when you do in the bigger journals, you're going to need 3.5 times, about 3.5 times the journal height, which is about this. Take these scissors. Again, I'm going to cut it. Right? And then I'm going to take this. And I love these bigger eyes because I can actually see to thread them through. Okay. Now, I'm going to go through the middle here, and I want to make sure that mine is sewed in the middle. So I am going to, I tie mine in the middle, but if you want your tie knot part to come out, you can go in first in the middle of the bag, but for this purpose, I want to go through the middle. So I'm just going to kind of use this and push a little bit. There we go. Go through the middle about somewhere. Here we go. Now, I am going to need to go through now the top part. Middle of the top part. There we go. All right. And then I'm going to go down here. Push that through the center of the spine. There you go. This is a great way to practice your 3-hole pamphlet stitch if you are a little nervous about doing them in bigger journals. This is great. It's a great way to practice, and it's so cute the way it turns out. I'm going to go back through the center hole that I have, that I made, the original hole. I say I'm going to. Yes, there we go. Now, when I come out, I want to have one of the tails on one side of this middle string, and I want the other side to come out, and I'm going to tie on this one. So I'm going to tie my knot over this center. So I am just going to try to do mine opposing ways. They say that secures your knot when you right over left, left over right, or whatever way you want to do it. Now, you can leave this on here if you want a little dangle, but I am going to cut these because I'm not going to have a little dangle on mine. All right, take these clips off, and now I am ready to decorate my journal. I have my pages sewed in and everything, and now I'm just ready to, not my journal, my little mini book, and I am ready to decorate the inside. These pages may have been sewed in a little bit higher than I wanted them to, but okay, oh well. All right, when you're on a video, you're trying to do it quickly, and things happen. Okay, so I'm going to decide what I want to put on the front. Now, I have all kinds of different little bebops that I put to the side sometimes that I use to make clusters, like I might save something like this to make a cluster. This is just was a piece of some vintage lace I had that may be pretty to put on the front. Yeah, actually that's very pretty. I think I'm going to use that for. I also have some of these flowers that came off of some trim that I have. That's also pretty. Let's see, I have some sari silk, some of the beads that were on some sari silk edging. Okay. I honestly think I'm going to go back to this piece. Now for this, I'm going to use Fabrifix glue. The Fabrifix glue is a clear silicone glue, and it is just, it is the best way I've heard it described is like hot glue, but it's not hot. This is Fabrifix. It's also called Fabri-Tac in some places, and it's permanent fabric adhesive, but it adheres, it adheres paper to paper, fabric to fabric, and fabric to paper. And Beacon makes this glue, and they call it, according to, I think, pretty much where it's sold, Fabri-Tac or Fabrifix, but you can find it in Walmart, some Walmarts, and in some craft stores. So I'm going to just put a little bit of this. I'm not going to use the glue stick on this just because I just wanted a little bit extra hold. I'm just going to dot this down. I really don't want it the gooey glue stick. It seems to, when I'm doing these laces or gluing laces on, the Fabri-Tac or Fabrifix seems to work. Okay, where do I want work the best? Where do I want to put this? Okay. Oh, okay. And this Fabrifix allows you to move it around a little bit. And I put it in a clear icing piping bottle by Sweet Sugar Bell icing piping bottle. I like this tip, this little precision tip that I have. And this glue goes on clear, and it also dries clear, so it can be a little bit gooey. And the reason why I didn't use this glue on the card was I could have, but it does have a little bit of thickness to it, and so the glue stick works better to not have as much of a thick glue. It might, it gives it more of a smooth surface. Okay, so now I have this, and I think I'm going to put a little word on the front like I did my others. Maybe this is a tiny little book that I've used for maybe when I've gone out and I've recorded some notes on nature or something, and I've found that you can use, you don't have to put a word on here. I have these little transfers that Tim Holtz has, and I've used a lot of the ones here, but I still have some of them, and I've been using the words out of these observation. Maybe I want to write my observations down. Let me get some smaller. I use my little snippets. These are great. These are Fiskars, and these are great just to get in little small spaces. They're very accurate scissors. Let's see. I'm trying to get to this word observation without messing up the other neat little words that they have here. Let's see. Cut this off, and then cut these. These make fussy cutting a lot easier. Okay, now these are just little rub-offs. So what I'm going to do is take off the back. These are like those tattoos that you wet the back of, and you rub them on your hand and they come off and then they'll wash off. These are kind of like that concept. So I'm going to put the word down where I want it. Observation. Okay, and once I've put it down, if I pull it back up, it goes on the fabric fine, but if I go to pull it back up, I pretty much have to leave it where I put it because it already kind of starts coming off of the plastic and onto this paper. So I'm going to use my bone folder. I think these come with a little, it looks like a little popsicle stick. I think these come with, in Tim Holtz's anyway, they come with the popsicle stick that you can use but I don't know where that is, and so I'm just going to use my bone folder. And you can kind of see it starting to come off of the plastic and onto the page a little bit. Let's see if it's come off enough for me to peel this off. Yes. Come on, there we go. Yes! All right, there we go. We have observation. Can you see that? It's kind of dark. See that? But observation on our book. Now, let's decorate the inside quickly. You can use whatever. You can use rubber stamps. You can use stickers. You can use all kinds of things. Let's see. This is a flower observation. What have I observed? Maybe I've observed some flowers or something in the forest. Let's see. Let me see what I have over here real quick. Okay, I have these peg stamps. These are so awesome. I got these on Etsy. Let's see. Maybe I want to put, since I've been observing some flowers, or some nature, I may want to choose a flower, or maybe some grass, or, I have a tree. Ooh, I think this is the tree of life, as they call it. But I'm going to take this tree and I'm going to, I love these little peg stamps, and I also love these little miniature inks by Tim Holtz. I think this one's Mauve Lawn, because I can take these, and stampers are probably cringing, but I can take these and I can color in my stamps. I'm going to take Mauve Lawn and make the tree part green, and then let's see, get my, you can use the big ones too, but it's more precise with the smaller ones. And I'm going to take this gathered twig for my tree trunk and make sure I don't have any on the edges. Okay, now I am going to put this in. Please work. Oh, it did. Look, I have green, little green tree. All right, a green tree and little brown trunk. That's so cute. Okay, so do I want to put anything in the back? Maybe I want to use a number. You could glue a number out of a book page on here, or you could put another stamp or another sticker. I think I may use another piece of this. Let's see. I have, well, there's the number 59. Maybe I want to have this, maybe this should be the number, a book number. Let's see. Here's a number. I could do whatever. These just lend themselves to pretty much whatever you want to however you want to decorate them. But I just love these little transfers, and I'm almost through with this page of them, and I'm going to use them up. Okay, I'm going to take this out. Try not to touch the back of this, and maybe this is the number, the observation book number that I have. This is book number 47257. Okay, and I'm going to rub this down here. Just my finger. These have a little bit of stick on to kind of hold it in place, but they will slide. So that's why I'm kind of holding this down. Just trying to get this to come off. I think it comes off better on the fabric than it does on the paper. Easier, but let's see. And kind of start peeling them up. Yeah, and see that it's adhered. So there we go. Number 47257. And we have a book. Now, I may be wanting to put a little something on the side, maybe a little piece of seam binding or trim, just to add a little edge to this. Let's see what I have. I have this little side thing that I have of lace or trims. Maybe something on the little bits that I have left. Okay. Let's see how this would, yeah, maybe. Okay, I'm going to go with this just for time purposes, because I'm really trying to make these around half an hour. I'm going to go for my Fabrifix again. it is just wanting to be so slow on me. I think I should have stored it like this, maybe upside down while I was doing my project and put the little stopper on there, but anyway, oh well, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Okay, so I'm going to just put a little bit of glue, run it along the edge here, and I'm going to put it here, and I think I'm just going to maybe go over to the back too, so I will be covering up my little sewing that hand sewing thing that I did in there. But remember, now a sewing machine will also work. Okay, I'm going to just put this middle part of this, I'm going to use that as to go over my spine, so I kind of have this equally front and back. I'm going to use the middle of this. I'm just going to do it like this, and hopefully I have enough glue in here. If not, I can go in and add some more. Okay, so I have that wrapped around the spine. Okay, now I'm going to take my snippets. Boop. Oh, I have a little excess. Cut that off. And this glue gives you a few minutes to move stuff around. So I may be wanting to move this around just a little bit. And you can also go in and fix it. There's a little bit hanging off here. Okay, so let's see, there we go. Straighten it. Come on, straighten out. Straighten your act out. There we go. Okay, so here we go. And we just would put this aside and let it go. So here we have a little book that we've made in about half an hour. And it's just so cute. Okay, so we have this one, and then we have some of the other ones that I showed you from before. And here's this one. All right, so if you like these, you can find these in my Things Like This, or maybe some of these are left in my Etsy store. It's the Creator's Attic on Etsy. And again, I'm Audrey. And thank you for coming out and watching my video. I will be doing more of these, probably using up more playing cards and also index cards. I'm going to focus on those things in my next few videos. Check out my kits in my store. I have antique and vintage ephemera kits that are great for those vintage junk journals that you're making, and just all kinds of things, trims, old trims, samplers and things in my store, just lots of different things related to junk journals. So come and check me out and check out more of my YouTube videos. Thanks, and I hope you have a great day. Happy crafting to you. Bye-bye.